There is a specific frequency of focus that makes the world step aside. It is not productivity. It is not hustle. It is a state of being where you become entirely unreachable by the trivial. At this level, people stop giving you advice because they can feel that you are operating on a plane they cannot comprehend. You don't chase dopamine. You don't get pulled into nonsense. You move through reality like a man with a target welded into his cortex. Most men will go their entire lives without barely grazing this state. A lucky few touch it by accident and don't know how to stay there. But the dangerous ones, the builders, the emperors of their own fate, they construct this state in silence. They live there. Today, we are going to audit your mind. We are going to find out if you are just busy or if you have crossed into that territory where your will bends reality. But before we begin, subscribe, like the video, and check out the daily Stoic Discipline Journal to build your mindset in 10 minutes a day. Now, let's begin. 1. The world starts to feel slow around you. There comes a moment, quiet but violent in its clarity, when you notice the shift. You walk into a room full of noise, conversations, drama, tension, the buzzing of anxious minds. Yet, to you, everything feels distant, like you are watching it from behind thick glass. People are talking fast, but they aren't saying anything. They jump from topic to topic like their brains are flickering lights, desperate to keep the silence away. Meanwhile, you are steady. Your internal clock has detached from theirs. This is the first sign. You have exited the chaos. The Stoics spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress inside the mind that remains untouched even when the city burns outside. Imagine a stock trader in the middle of a market crash. Everyone around him is screaming, throwing phones, weeping over lost fortunes. But he sits there, drinking his coffee, watching the numbers fall. He isn't panicking. He's looking for the opportunity in the rubble. He sees the patterns because he refused to inherit the panic. When you reach this level, you stop matching the world's frantic pace. You force the world to slow down to yours. You don't react to speed, you observe it. And in that observation, you find power. 2. You no longer respond, you calculate. The average man is a slave to reaction. He is a raw nerve ending. If he is insulted, he snaps. If he is pressured, he folds. If he is tempted, he consumes. He thinks this rapid reaction is strength, but it is actually a lack of control. But when your focus becomes dangerous, the mechanism inside you changes. You stop reacting. You start dissecting. Someone insults you. You don't feel anger. You observe their insecurity. You see the insult for what it is, a projection of their own failure. Someone tries to rush you. You don't speed up. You pause. You examine why they need you off balance. Someone tests your patience. You don't bite. You wait. You let the silence hang in the air until they suffocate on it. This is the second sign. You become unpredictable, not because you are erratic, but because you are composed. You have become emotionally untouchable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone has provoked you, remember that it is your own judgment that has provoked you." The weak man thinks silence is submission. The focused man knows silence is the loudest thing in the room. When your mind becomes a weapon, your words become expensive. You spend them only when necessary. 3. Distractions stop being temptations. They become repulsive. You know you have reached a rare altitude when you don't even crave the things that used to derail you. In fact, they disgust you. You look at your phone and the urge to scroll isn't there. You see it as a drain on your battery. You hear the notification ping and you don't feel curiosity. You feel annoyance that a machine is trying to command your attention. You see the drama unfolding in your social circle and it doesn't pull you in. It looks childish. Your brain has physically rewired itself. You no longer chase cheap dopamine spikes. You chase momentum. There is a terrifying moment every man experiences on this journey. It's the moment he tries to go back to his old life just to relax. He sits down to play the video game. He opens the app to scroll. He watches the pointless movie. And he feels nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. He feels hollow. He feels like he is eating cardboard when he is used to steak. This is because once your mind tastes real purpose, once you feel the traction of building something that matters, artificial stimulation loses its flavor. People will look at you and say you are obsessed. They will say you have changed as if it's an insult. They are right. You evolved. They stayed the same. 4. You become violently protective of your time. This is the point where your focus becomes visible and offensive to others. You start saying no without guilt. You stop offering excuses. You cut conversations mid-sentence if they aren't going anywhere. You disappear into your work for days. You defend your schedule like a wolf defending a fresh kill. People get offended. They tell you, "You think you're too good for us now." They call you distant, selfish, arrogant, unavailable. Let them. You know the truth. They weren't asking for your presence. They were asking for your distraction. They wanted you to join them in the pit of wasted time so they wouldn't feel so alone in their lack of progress. Seneca was criticized in his time for isolating himself to write philosophy while the rest of Rome partied. His logic was simple. I am not withdrawing from humanity. I am withdrawing from the noise so I can serve humanity when I return. That is you now. Your time is your sharpest blade. If you let people dull it, you cannot cut through the obstacles in front of you. This level of focus costs you friends. It costs you popularity, but it buys you a legacy. And if you are honest with yourself, that trade has never felt more right. 5. You feel an almost physical pull toward your goals. When your focus sharpens to a dangerous degree, your goals stop being ideas on a piece of paper. They become gravity. It becomes a physical sensation, a tightness in the chest, a weight in the back of the skull. You can be eating dinner, walking the dog, or taking a shower, and your mind automatically snaps back to the mission. You stop forcing discipline. You stop needing motivation. Does a drowning man need motivation to swim to the surface? No, it is instinct. Does a starving man need a reminder to eat? No, it is survival. That is the shift. Your ambition becomes biological. Consider the artist who forgets to eat for 2 days because the painting isn't finished, or the athlete running at 4 a.m. in the freezing rain. If you ask him, how do you stay motivated in the cold? He looks at you confused. He doesn't feel the cold. He only feels the fire. When you reach this point, you don't have to push yourself anymore. You are being pulled. The vision is dragging you forward, and you are powerless to resist it. 6. People either admire you or fear you. High focus creates a vacuum. It creates distance, not because you push people away, but because your intensity exposes their lack of direction. Some people, the good ones, will admire you. They will be drawn to your fire for warmth. They will come to you for guidance, for clarity, because being near you makes them want to stand up straighter. But others, the majority, they will feel threatened. They will interpret your discipline as judgment. Your silence will look like arrogance to them. Your ambition will look like ego. But the truth is simple. You have become a mirror. When a lazy man looks at a focused man, he sees his own wasted potential reflecting back at him. And that hurts. Nothing scares the average man more than someone proving that effort actually works. Because if you can do it, he has no excuse. Dangerous focus isolates you. It sharpens your aura. It makes you magnetic to kings and unbearable to peasants. This is the cost of elevation. Accept it. 7. You lose interest in winning against others. You are competing with time. Here is the final sign, the one that changes everything, the absolute peak of the mountain. You stop caring about comparison. You don't look sideways anymore. You don't look at rivals. You don't look at the critics. You don't check the scoreboard to see who is ahead of you, because you realize that the other players are irrelevant. The only enemy left is time. You start thinking in a language others don't speak. Did I use today well? Did I waste an hour I will never get back? What will the version of me on my deathbed think of this afternoon? This is the Stoic awakening. Memento mori. The realization that the sand in the hourglass flows only one way. Every minute you spend distracted or arguing or hesitating is a minute stolen from the masterpiece you are trying to build. You aren't trying to beat the man next to you. You are trying to beat the grave. You are trying to get the work done before the lights go out. At this stage, focus becomes natural. Purpose becomes oxygen. You stop chasing success and you start chasing immortality through your work. If even one of these signs felt familiar to you, understand this. You are not becoming extreme. You are becoming inevitable. Dangerous focus is not about obsession. It is about subtraction. It is the clarity to see what matters and the ruthless courage to slice away everything that does not. Most men will never reach this level, not because they can't, but because they are terrified of the solitude required to maintain it. They don't want to pay the price. But you are already paying it. So keep sharpening, keep rising. The view from the summit is worth the climb, and if you are ready to stop consuming and start conquering, subscribe. This is where we build the mind. The rest is just noise.